up. We about to have a time tonight. Sure you keep that burner tuck, cause dick like the creep low. Say motherfuck the PO and the judge. But if they come with us, just know it's love. I'm saying just because. Yeah. Cause we've been coming from welfare.
I honestly cannot believe how good this footage looks from this camera. I mean, going from an iPhone to this is honestly worlds apart. It's almost like it's made to shoot videos.
I watched my mama and my daddy struggle with the bottle. I watched my cousins and my brother banged out full throttle. Driver's seat, we bout that action, we ain't sitting idle. And even when they melanated, still a rival. I ain't about killing, but I'm about survival. And
when I was in the market for a new camera, I was deciding between the DJI Osmo Pocket 4, which is what I'm recording on now, and like a Sony, either a ZV-E10 or an A6700. Like one of them cameras, one of them, an interchangeable lens one. And the main factors, or two of the main factors of why I decided to go for this camera were, one, the size of it and like how convenient it would be, and two, I'd never have to worry about shaky footage or jitters, as the camera is literally attached to a gimbal. So as I was going back and forth in my head, which one to get, which one do I get, I scraped all my pennies together and I went and bought this one. I want to actually just interject here and say some of the clips in this video may look a little different compared to the ones before and the ones after. That's just because I've used a different setting or a different colour profile, I think it is. It's basically D-Log and some of it's normal. So the colour grading is slightly different. Now, that's basically my fault. Now, due to the size of this camera, I feel like I'll be more inclined to get it out of my pocket or get it out of my bag and start recording, whether it's myself or everything around me. Now, I thought to myself, if I buy like an interchangeable lens camera, it's slightly bigger, bit more in your face. So I thought to myself, if I've got the slight fear of talking to a camera in public with a big one, then surely the smaller one will make me get it out more. What I'm trying to say is, with this camera, I feel like I'll get it out and use it more, which is basically why I brought this one. And it wasn't until yesterday I understand why this camera actually has its name. Now, there is other like words around it, but it's called the DJI Osmo Pocket 4. And then when I was testing the camera out and I actually put it in my pocket and how easily it slipped in my pocket, that's when it clicked. I thought, yeah, of course it is. Okay, so I know I've just showed you an example there of when it's in my pocket. That's with nothing connected to it. So that's when it is the smallest. But I feel like I like to have something stacked on the bottom of it, because if I'm holding it here like this, it's just the bottom of your hand's got nothing to hold on to. So I like, this comes with it anyway. So you can just whack this on like that, and then it just makes it a little bit longer, and it's got a 1/4 inch screw on the bottom, so you can whack accessories onto the bottom. And then this is just a little tripod thingy what I've got with a gimbal for my phone, what I bought ages ago. So if I just spin that on there like this, I mean, it probably makes it twice as long, but it's a lot more easy to hold. One caveat to this is though, it looks like a bit of a gun when you've got it sticking out your pocket. I mean, even with the little cube added onto the bottom and then a tripod handle onto that, I'm still more likely to pull it out and use it compared to like if I had a bigger camera with a bigger tripod, just things like that. Even with the accessories on, it doesn't make it that much more bigger. And one of the deciding factors of why I did actually go for this camera instead of like a Sony, like one with an interchangeable lens, was because of how small it is. And I think that because it's so small and so light and so easy to use and just get out, then I'll be inclined to get it out and use it more. When you're buying a camera, that is a big part to play, because if you can have a nice fancy camera, but if it stays in your pocket or in your bag, then it's no good in there, is it? So that for me, especially as I'm kind of getting over the nerves of talking to a camera in public, the daintier the better, the smaller, the more nimble the better. Even with the camera being this small, I cannot believe how good the footage looks. It's honestly unbelievable. And now that's probably half of me never having another camera, and the other half me having something new, so I'm kind of hyping it up a little bit more than it should actually be. But I've even seen videos of people say it's absolutely brilliant as well. I think I saw one comment say out of 20, 25, when it says the footage looks average. Now, I understand there's a lot more expensive and a lot better cameras out there, but I feel like when you get to a certain level, and I'm not saying this camera's at that level, by the way, when you get to a certain level, like a couple more thousand doesn't have the same impact as it does at the lower end of the scale. So say if you go from a £4,000 camera to a £6,000 camera, it's probably not as big of a jump as if you went from 1,000 to 3,000. I'm comparing my iPhone to this camera.
We be praying to the Lord, but still ain't read the Bible. And put that pedal to the floor with a savage title. Hope we don't crash out. Shawty out, seeking attention. She got that out. BBL scheming on. She in her bag now. Thirsty, they tryna they pull the cash out. Prostituting, carrying trauma, but they didn't ask how. Yeah. Cause we been coming from welfare, medical, healthcare, living in a...
It even gives a slight background blur, which I wasn't sure was going to happen with this camera. Look up. See how it's focused on my hand there, and now my head's blurry, and now it comes in nice. See, that is sick. I wasn't sure if that was going to happen with this camera, but I'm so glad it does. Look at that. That is sick. You won't get that on iPhone. This talking point is kind of totally irrelevant, because with most cameras you're going to use an external microphone, but I thought I'd test out the audio anyway, so here we go. So one thing I haven't tested is the microphones yet, and I don't know if the wind reduction mode is actually any good, so I'm just going to do a little test while standing here and then judge it off that. I mean, most of the time I do use like an external microphone anyway, but maybe one day you forget it, or I don't know, maybe you haven't got it one day, or it runs out of battery or something. And I know when you do get the DJI mics, they connect automatically to the camera, so that is handy to have. Okay, so it turns out that then that was noise reduction on, so now it's off, and the wind's died down a little bit. And the only other thing I've got to compare it to, actually I'll say this when the wind reduction's on. So whilst testing out the audio, the only other camera I've got really is my GoPro. So it's an unfair test as well, I'd say, because when I use my GoPro, I'm on my bike, so there's always going to be a lot more wind going past, and that's not really a proper camera. So this compared to the GoPro probably will be a lot better. I'm kind of hoping that it's a lot better. And this camera also frees up a lot of shooting scenarios for me, because when I use my iPhone, I had to think about, was there enough light coming in, because if the image gets slightly too dark, the image shows a bit of grain, and it's just annoying for me, because I wanted like the best quality I could get. So that limited me to only shooting places where there was light, or in daytime scenarios, etc, etc. I don't think I've ever said that word, etc. Now, there are some caveats to this camera compared to my iPhone. I don't want to start slating this camera, because it's absolutely brilliant and it does exactly what it says on the tin. Now, the iPhone is better in some scenarios, like say if you haven't got your phone at all, this camera can't then post exactly what it's just shot, whereas on the iPhone you can shoot something and then post it straight to YouTube, Instagram, wherever you want to post it. So this is just a nice little upgrade to get some better footage. Now, I've been thinking since I bought it and picked it up, how sturdy is it? Now, to get the nice footage and like the non-shaky footage what I was on about, because it's built on a gimbal, it obviously comes with pros and cons, because I don't know how sturdy it's going to be, because obviously it's built on a stick like this. So hopefully I'll never find that out. And it's actually got this little clip for when you're not using it. You can just whack that on and it'll make it a little bit more sturdy, and so it doesn't twist and break on its own. Now, I haven't even scratched the surface on testing this camera out. There's so many more things I can try and do with it, like settings, there's an app, and like just experimenting with shots. There's actually settings for the gimbal to do whilst you're recording as well. So if you actually want to see a more specific video, me testing this camera out, then let me know exactly what you want to know, and I'll try and make the best video possible. I've already got a few more ideas in mind about it, but I thought this is just a good one to make first and show you a few of the shots and what it's actually capable of. So if you've got to this point, thanks for watching, and if you want to subscribe, you'd have already done it by now. So see you later.